We're talking about the latest Niners news and rumors. There's a juicy one going around Twitter. It's that the Atlanta Falcons are rumored to be making offers to the 49ers about Trey Lance. It may or may not be true. In fact, I'm thinking it isn't, but it's something to talk about because it's out there and I didn't make it up. What do you know about this rumor?
I am leaning towards the side that it's not necessarily true
It doesn't
either.
sound right to me. It
It
doesn't sound right.
doesn't.
But say
Well,
what it is. Yeah.
well, I'll say this. I don't know that the whole thing doesn't sound right because I really do believe from everything that I've heard and all the things that I've read that the Falcons were definitely in on Trey Lance at pick 4 if the 49ers hadn't taken him. So the team sounds right. The timing definitely seems off. And what they're rumored to be offering is a 3rd round pick that could essentially escalate to a 2nd round pick, depending on, whatever they put in the agreement, whether it's games played or how well Trey Lance plays or what have you. The question, I guess, is not, is it real or not? Because we have no idea. Let's assume that it's not. But if it were, do you think that is realistically what Trey Lance is worth? And do you think that's enough to move off of Trey Lance if you're the 49ers? I think that is probably the real questions.
You say it again. What is Atlanta rumored to be offering here?
A 3rd round pick that could escalate to a 2nd round pick, depending on whatever stipulations they were to put in place. We'll say games played for him this year or something like that.
That's why I don't think this is real. I don't think his market is there right now. If it were, I think he might have been traded around the draft.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're happy they didn't trade him around the draft because he came back and is better, according to all reports. Debo, Kittle, Kyle, man has improved. And I've seen it too. He can actually throw the short passes with touch now, as opposed to 2 years ago. More touch. So I don't, after all the Niners have done, the injuries, the surgery, I don't think there's that much of a trade market. I've always felt that way. When Larry Krueger was adamant that he was going to get traded during the draft, I'm like, Larry, no one wants him because he's inexperienced. He was inexperienced coming out of college. The Niners set him back with more inexperience, and he's been hurt. And they said they don't like him. So what team is going to say the Niners are wrong? Here's a 3rd round pick that could become a 2nd. I just don't see it. And it's the Niners' fault because he really should be worth that. This is the 3rd pick in the draft who's only started 4 games. He should be worth a 1st. But the Niners have done such a good job of tanking his market. I don't think I don't know. What team is going to say, you know what? That's going to be our starting quarterback this year.
Yeah, I
think
think
fault for not playing him.
Yes, definitely agree with that. I also think out of all times ever anyways, this is the worst time to try to trade a quarterback. All quarterbacks value is at an all-time low because everybody has healthy quarterbacks at this point. Right. Once teams start losing players and start losing quarterbacks, especially if they think they're competitive, then that's the time when quarterback value goes up. I tend to agree. I don't think that there's a lot of value right now for Trey Lance. I don't know that there ever was. But interestingly enough, I had similar conversations with Larry when he was talking about Trey Lance potentially could be traded during the draft. And he said, what would you be willing to trade him for? And my exact scenario was exactly what the Falcons are rumored to be offering, which is, hey, I think a 3rd round pick that could potentially escalate to a 2nd sounds about right to me.
I think the Niners would too. And I think that's probably why they haven't traded him yet. I don't think it's out there. And here's the thing. With a quarterback, I feel like, don't teams want their starting quarterback in the building on the team when OTAs start? Like, what Super Bowl winning team added a quarterback late in the year or late in the process, even late in the offseason? I'm sure there's one, but like usually the guy was on the team in OTAs, minicamp, training camp the whole time, not like some guy that they got in August. Seems like most teams want to have a plan, want to have a starter, and aren't trying to scramble around on July 29th being like, oh, that's our starter. And he's learning our system, and he has a month. We're going to win the Super Bowl. We got this.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also think that Atlanta's probably, they're not in that position to even make the playoffs.
Trey Lance away, baby.
Yeah. So I think for them, it would be a long-term play is what it would be.
Sure. Matthew Sanders says East Coast or West, Jesse. Tamarindo is fire.
I was actually kind of central for when I was in the foresty area, and then I was on the Pacific side, so West Coast when I was at the beach side.
Cool. Dave Barkley says how much I miss. 7 minutes. Fire Kyle, love Trey. Nathan Flores says, is July 12th, 2023, and Trey Lance is still on the 49ers trade area.
How long until those videos? If he's on, can we get a commitment from Grant Cohn today, 7/12/2023, that if Trey Lance is not the starter next year, but is on the roster, we can start to get those videos back?
Sure. I think it'd be fair. It just felt like last year they were saying, yeah, Jimmy's not going to be on this team. We're getting rid of Jimmy. Jimmy's like, when? Because he's still here. Never got rid of him. Dave Barclay says, love you guys as well. Keep killing it, both y'all. Thank you, Dave. Francisco, over under Trey, 7.5 starts. 7.5. Interesting.
Under.
I have to say under. I wouldn't put money on the over on that one. Under.